G'day guys, Dean from Blog for the Blood God here, and I've just finished up my 3-part series on the Night Lord's Legion and how they work with demon allies and some of the amazing combos that you can get using the demons and the Night Lords. But there's one thing that I left out when talking about the Night Lords specifically, and that is an insanely powerful combo that you can do with Terminators. So I thought I'd make this a little bonus video that I'm going to tack on to the end of that 3-part series that's going to show you this really powerful combo with Night Lord's Terminators that you can use to absolutely kick shooting armies like Tau directly in the face vagina. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video.
Blog for the Blood God.
Alrighty, so let's say you're reversing a Tau army. They've got triple Storm Surge, they've got a Hammerhead, they've got broadside battlesuits, they've got Riptides, they've got all this insane amounts of DACA. They're going to blow your Terminators off the table if they get an opportunity to shoot them. So what I want to do today is show you how with the combination of a single Rhino, a Master of Possessions, and a unit of 10 Terminators, in the Night Lord's Legion, you will be able to break their castle. So as you can see, the Tau player is set up relatively standard, right? He's got his infantry units out the front to screen so that when your Terminators do go in for that charge, they're not going to be able to declare a charge on any of his big shooting targets. And as a result, your Night Lords are going to be able to not damage any of his value in that first turn. That's his sort of idea. So what we're going to do to beat that is we're going to set up our Rhino out of line of sight as close to the center of the table as possible. And then you roll off to see who goes first. Let's say hypothetically you get the first turn. It's not going to really matter because they're going to maintain that formation in their turn if they do get the first turn. And if you've deployed well, they're not going to be able to shoot much either. So they're sort of just going to do a little bit of jostling to try to get on objectives and things, but not much is going to really change in the game state. So in your first turn, what you're going to do is you're going to take your Master of Possessions, and you're going to disembark 9 inches out of that Rhino as close to the center of the table as you can. Right? And then, in your reinforcements step, you're going to bring down your Terminators by using the Night Lord's stratagem, which allows them to come on as if the battle round was one higher than it is. So you're allowed to essentially pretend that it's turn 2, and you can bring in Warp Strike units on turn 2. So basically what you've got to do, there's a few important things to note here, is when you bring on your Terminators, you need to bring them on so that one of them remains within 3 inches of that Master of Possessions, so back here, and then you want to string your coherency to get as close to these Fire Warriors or breaches as possible. So generally what you want to do there is create an anchor of 2, and then string your guys out so that they're 2 inches apart, like so. And then your front guys 9 inches away. So that's essentially where your front guys will be, is there. Like so. So now you've got your Terminators have arrived. They're 9 inches away from these 2 Fire Warrior units, and they're within 3 inches of your Master of Possessions. And now what you do is you go into your Psychic phase, and in that Psychic phase, you use the Ritual Dagger of that Master of Possessions to kill one of your Terminators, which you do mortal wounds to one of the models in that unit. So we'll take this model from the front here, and then you get to place him within coherency up here. So now you've basically got he's within coherency of those 2, he's within those 2, he's within those 2, he's within those 2, so on and so forth, and he's within those 2. So now you're able to leapfrog that guy forward. And if you were 9 inches away, which we were a little bit close there, but you get the gist. If they're 9 inches away and he's within coherency, you're now looking at a 5-inch charge. So you need to roll a 5 on the dice to make that charge. Then obviously with a command point reroll, you're very likely to get that in. So what these Terminators do is they fire all their bolters at that unit back there. So let's say that you were able to get most of them within range. Maybe you spend a strat or 2, doesn't really matter, but let's say you kill this unit, just for argument's sake. So they're dead. And then you make your charge here. With a command point reroll and only needing to roll a 5, you're quite likely to make your charge. But the important thing to note is you don't declare this one as a target. You just declare this unit here as the target of your charge. And then what you do is you basically move your Terminators. Say you rolled a 7, which is your pretty standard charge range. You're going to move a few guys over this way, and then a few guys this way, and then keeping that coherency. So you're going to do something along those lines with your charge move. Then when you pile in, you can pile these guys in here, these guys in here, and you can still pile in to end in engagement range of those fire warriors. You can't allocate attacks to them because you didn't declare them as a target of your charge, but you can pile in to be within engagement range. Now, in the fight phase, you're going to absolutely decimate this squad with the 6 or 7 Terminators that get to strike there. So they're fucked. Dead. Right? But you can't allocate attacks on this central unit. So yep, cool, no worries. They don't do any damage to you because you're Terminators, and you go into your Tower of player's turn. Now the Tower player currently can't shoot those Terminators because they're within engagement range of a friendly unit. So what the Tower player is going to want to do is he's going to want to fall back with those Fire Warriors. But what we're going to do is we're going to use another Night Lord stratagem to make it so that they cannot fall back. So now, those Fire Warriors cannot move because they're engagement range of them, and then any move would then be a fallback move, and they're not allowed to make a fallback move. So now, those Fire Warriors are locked in combat. All of this Tower stuff can't shoot your Terminator. So then, in the Tower player's assault phase, in their fight phase, you're now going to get to fight with these Terminators, and when you do so, you're just going to pile in like so, and get them all up in there. You're going to kill these Fire Warriors as well in the Tower player's turn. So they're now dead. And then basically now you go into your turn, and these Terminators are free now to move in, fight a bunch of other stuff, and then essentially rinse and repeat that strategy. So you can keep doing that over and over. It is very CP intensive, but doing so will allow that Terminator unit to survive for the entire game. You probably only realistically need to do it once or twice to really just fuck the Tower player up, because now if these Terminators go in, say they go in and they kill, you know, the Riptide, they kill a Storm Surge and they tag a bunch of this stuff so it can't shoot in the subsequent turn, they can't be shot in the subsequent turn, nothing can fall back. Then you go, cool, now we go into the next turn. By then, your opponent has had to just run away. They've had to abandon wherever they are and let those Terminators have that area of the board because they can't deal with the Terminators, and they essentially have to try to outrun them. And then this is where the rest of your army comes into play, where you're going to be raising banners, you're going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and there's fuck all that they can do to stop you. So, really powerful combo with the Night Lord's Terminators. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that brief little strategy session on how to use Night Lord's Terminators to absolutely decimate gunline style shooting based armies. Now in this example I used Tower, but that's just because first of all, it's the most common example of a shooting based army, but also it just happens to be the one that I have on hand. This same strategy will work against all kinds of different shooting based armies, and there are a lot of them out there at the moment. So, and even against those sorts of mixed armies that do some shooting and some combat, this is going to effectively mitigate their shooting component of their list. And it's also going to mean that your opponent, in order to deal with those Terminators, is going to have to engage them in combat, and that's exactly where you want those Terminators, particularly if you've made the Mark of Slaanesh, because what that means is that when they do engage you in combat, you're going to be able to strike first. So really powerful combo there on the Night Lord's Terminators. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you like this sort of tactics content. I'm trying to mix it up and try to provide a combination of battle reports, reviews, and specific model on the table style strategy videos. So let me know what you'd like to see more of. Let me know what your favorite content is, because while I make this content because I enjoy all of it. So if there's something specific that you want to see, well then I'm going to head in that sort of direction. So yeah, with that being said, a huge thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. You guys have inspired me to invest more in this and get new lighting and new equipment so that I can make sure that these videos are of the highest quality that I can do. So I really appreciate that. and it goes a long way to showing me that there's value in what I offer. So thanks again for the support you guys show me on Patreon. And if there's something specific that you want to see, consider heading over to my Patreon, signing up, because that's where I get all of the advice and all of the input on the direction that I take this channel. So if you want to see something specific, Patreon is the way to go. And with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.
Look for the blood god.
The Warhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor a mad cunt like Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel, unsustainable, and your fault.
Do your objective markers ever get lost behind terrain or other models and become difficult to see? Do they ever get bumped and accidentally moved during a game? And do they ever spark arguments about distances? Well, not anymore. Introducing the blog for the blood god, not even remotely patented neoprene objective markers. Made from the same material as astronaut suits, or maybe military equipment, or probably neither of those things, this 2mm thick neoprene synthetic rubber is tear resistant, water resistant, and is designed to last. But that's not all. The blog for the blood god, not even remotely patented neoprene objective markers come in a variety of different designs and styles to suit any faction represented in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. These objective markers are a perfect gift for yourself or a friend, and are a perfect way to flex and show your opponent that not only are you a smarter, cooler, and better 40k player than them, but you also have more disposable income than they do. For the low price of $25, you'll get not one, not two, but 6 neoprene objective markers, perfectly designed for 9th edition Warhammer 40k. But wait, there's more. For a limited time only, people who sign up on Patreon to support Blog for the Blood God as a Skull Champion tier $5 per month member will gain access to a custom design service where I will design a unique logo to support their gaming club, like the one I did to the left here for the Potato Farmers local gaming club here in Melbourne. Follow the links in the description of this video to pick up your set today.